Imagine opening your bedroom closet to get dressed, right? But then you realize you can't wear a single thing you own because your wardrobe is, well, a biological hazard zone.
Yeah, that is just incredibly stressful to even think about.
Right. So, welcome to today's deep dive where we are looking into exactly that. Our mission today is to analyze a really tense series of Danish text messages sent from this very desperate tenant to a property manager.
A manager who is saved in their phone is just JWV, and this person is completely, ghosting them. Just zero response.
Okay, let's unpack this because we want to see how a severe yet technically solvable pest problem rapidly escalates into a total breakdown of a legal agreement.
So the root cause here is a really severe mouse infestation. But, we aren't just talking about a mouse scurrying under the fridge every now and then.
No, it's way, way worse than that.
Where the texts show this physical contamination has totally breached the tenant's most intimate spaces.
Yeah, the tenant is panicking because they're getting severe allergic reactions to, quote, mouse particles covering their clothing. They actually use the Danish word mussetøj, which literally means mouse clothes.
Mouse clothes, yeah.
Hmm.
That specific detail is so striking.
It really is. Now, I get being mad about mice, but the sheer panic in these texts over the clothing, it feels like a psychological breaking point, not just a standard maintenance issue.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like a localized hazmat situation where your own bedroom closet becomes a danger zone. So how does the physical contamination of something as personal as clothing amplify the psychological stress of a housing dispute?
What's fascinating here is the subtle shift, from a property annoyance to a profound biological violation. Clothing is basically our second skin,
Oh, for sure.
right? So when you lose the safety of your own garments, it kind of strips away your basic dignity. It's not just a nuisance anymore. The tenant physically cannot inhabit their own life without having an allergic reaction.
Which is terrifying.
Exactly. And that complete loss of a safe harbor sends psychological stress straight through the roof.
It's like being placed on infinite hold by customer service, but the waiting room is, I don't know, slowly filling up with water. You're going to eventually smash a window just to get someone's attention.
That is a great way to put it. JWV is basically a ghost in the machine here.
Yeah, and you can practically feel the tenant's blood pressure spiking with every single unread message.
Precisely. Because the landlord refuses to engage, well, the tenant's lack of agency breeds this absolute rebellion. If the landlord won't play by the rules of the lease, the tenant decides they won't either.
Right, they just go completely rogue.
Yeah, they text that they are bypassing the building's booking system and marching straight into the laundry room right that second. And they tell the landlord to just figure it out themselves.
Which is wild. Plus, they refuse to use the common house because they aren't allowed to bring their dog. It's a total rejection of the building's social contract.
And it culminates in this massive ultimatum. The tenant announces they're filing a formal complaint with the Tenants Association, the Ligiforning, today.
And they're refusing to pay rent and moving out until the mice are gone.
Yeah, it's a huge escalation.
So, what does this all mean? When a tenant takes matters into their own hands, like this, bypassing the booking system and threatening a rent strike, does it weaken their formal legal standing or just perfectly document their absolute desperation?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, you're touching on the legal concept of constructive eviction. This happens when a landlord's failure to act makes a property effectively unfit to live in.
Okay, right.
Usually when a tenant goes rogue, stops paying rent or breaks building rules, it absolutely hurts their case. But here, the landlord is inadvertently weaponizing their own silence against themselves.
Wait, how so? Like, how does ignoring texts hurt the landlord in this specific situation?
Because the tenant is explicitly documenting that the rule breaking is a last resort survival tactic.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, the formal channels of communication were shut down. So these texts aren't just a tantrum. They are a time-stamped, real-time, log-proving biological contamination and landlord negligence.
Ah, so it actually builds their case. They are basically creating their own evidence of documented desperation.
Right. By ignoring the initial problem, JWV handed the tenant a perfect paper trail of a fundamentally uninhabitable environment.
Wow.
The lack of communication forced the tenant's hand, turning what was a totally fixable pest issue into a massive legal liability.
It's wild how an unanswered text basically forced this tenant to build an ironclad legal defense out of pure frustration. If JWV had just picked up the phone, maybe we wouldn't be looking at a rent strike over mouse clothes.
It really highlights the power dynamics of communication, or, well, the lack thereof in a rental agreement.
Absolutely. Which leaves you with something to ponder the next time you're pushed to the brink. Consider the digital paper trails you leave in moments of absolute panic.
Yeah, that is definitely a sobering thought.
It is. How often do our frantic late-night text messages serve as both a desperate cry for help and a permanent, legally consequential record of our breaking point?